Hello everyone! Welcome to Literary Espresso. I'm Emily, and this channel is all about books and writing. So today I will be reviewing the book Poetics Without Borders, and this book is pretty big, as you can see. And it's also called Poética sin Fronteras in Español. So this book is both English and Spanish. There's English on the right side and then Spanish is on the left. So it's not a book that's been simply put in an English version or a Spanish version and then translated directly into a different language and put out as a different book that way with only one language. It contains both languages, and I believe this really helps the themes of the book come across, and I will discuss those themes of the book in a minute. So firstly, it's time to get coffee. I have my half-calf Green Mountain coffee, medium roast, in here right now. You have to have every literary book review with a cup of coffee, especially on Literary Espresso. So pause this video and get your coffee. Okay, you are now back. So this coffee is in my mug that I made when I was in Texas, and there's some stripes that are not very even or symmetrical. I really like the blue color on this mug, on the handle. I've been working for about 6.5 hours, so my brain is a little bit blue. Then on the inside, I have a quote: "Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind." Well, there is one part of this quote that I believe I spelled incorrectly, and it's on my mug forever, and I find that to be hilarious. This quote is by Dr. Seuss himself, and at the bottom of this mug I have a not very good painting that I have from like the puff paint that's in a small container. This was made at our ceramics shop in, let's see, 2017. So I was 18. And then there's a Horton Hears a Who, an elephant. I think I did a pretty good job for being puff paint, but it's not amazing. Anyways, so back to this book. This book is about perspectives of immigration from Mexico to the United States, and all of the poets have a unique perspective of this, obviously. And this book is meant to bring to light the commonality between Mexicans and Americans, and also to voice those unheard voices oftentimes of Mexican immigrants. I believe that this book is especially relevant because of the demonizing of Mexican immigrants in the United States. There's talks of walls being built, there's horrible detention encampments, the list goes on and on, sadly, and it's horrible. So this book is incredible, and I believe should probably be taught in schools, and many people should read this. It does not get the attention that I believe it deserves, and it's very important to read the stories of immigrants, not just to hear about them in the news, but to actually read from those voices. And this book is a collection of poetry, and all of the authors, including Blanca Vasquez, Alexander Tadez, Alejandro Aguilar Zelini, Orlando Carrion, Aisha Riviera, Julio Soriano, Antonio Chavez E. Sanchez, and Julieta Altamirano Crosby have contributed to this book, as well as the band Las Cafeterias. I'm not fluent in Spanish, so I really apologize if I pronounce any of those names incorrectly. I myself am fairly biased in favor of immigrants, but I really think that there's a problem if you aren't in favor of immigrants. I'm a second generation immigrant. I'm not Mexican. My father is Dutch from the Netherlands. But there's a huge place in my heart for immigrants from Mexico to the United States, and I am very passionate about immigrant rights. I helped run a art night for immigrant rights recently to raise money for the organization Raices, and I've worked with Latinx communities for health promotion. Now, I also have some bias in reviewing this book because it was gifted to me by Julieta herself, as we are collaborating for another art night where she will read some from this book. She didn't ask me to review this, she simply gave it to me because I expressed an interest in her art, and I am so glad she did. This is the best book of poetry I have read in a really long time, and it wasn't repetitive, even though it's about the same topic. Everyone has different stories and perspectives and a different style of writing, which is beautiful to see. And I felt very empowered after reading this, even though I myself am not an immigrant. I imagine if you are from Mexico that you will find this book very empowering and validating of your experience. And this one amazing aspect of this book is that there are these beautiful illustrations that are further vehicle for these amazing stories. Here's one special illustration that I thought I would share because it's a cup of coffee on Literary Espresso. So these illustrations are like Ruby Carr on steroids, and this book is just so beautiful. Please pick it up. Some of the proceeds go to funding for DACA students. And this book is fairly pricey. It's $25, but considering that the funding does go to DACA students, I think it's a great purchase. Aisha Rivera, her poems were my absolute favorites. She is an incredible poet. She talks about the in-between of not identifying as either identity as Mexican or American, coming from both of those identities, but also simultaneously identifying as both and identifying as that in between and what it's like to be between these two cultures. I found that very interesting to read. There's also perspectives like from Blanca Vasquez of immigrating to the United States. When you get to America, it's not like the pot at the end of the rainbow at all, and I think that people can be misconstrued to believe that as like America is this amazing beacon and everyone just wants to come here and see that pot at the end of the rainbow. That's not true at all. She talks about how there's a lot left behind and a lot in that longing and what that entails. Then there are also poems like Soy Napatista, which contain both English and Spanish purposefully. And Soy Napatista, the author, I'm blanking on who it is, it's Orlando Carrion. He wrote this poem purposefully in both English and Spanish to convey the youth's experiences living in a bilingual culture. And this is one of my favorite poems in the whole book. So there are more poems, and obviously there's more poems, but there's more poems that discuss the experience of being an immigrant, and they're all very interesting. I think that anyone would find them really interesting. I'm looking at the book right now, so I'm not looking at the camera. Hey everyone, it's Emily again from the future, and the end of my video unfortunately got cut off, so here I am again. And in every book review, I will be giving the book a comparison to a coffee drink. So I give this book a doppio, which is a drink with 2 espresso shots, and that is it. And I give this book a doppio comparison because there's both the Mexican and the American perspective, and There's an espresso shot of each in this book, both equally energizing and empowering. I give this book 5 out of 5 stars. I hope that you pick it up soon. See you later.